The death toll from the Ormonde building collapse south of Johannesburg has risen to 8. This comes after the resumption of the search and rescue operations on Tuesday morning. Operations were suspended on Monday night after 6 people were confirmed dead. As you can see, officials are on the ground still trying to search for the remaining body. On Monday night, 2 bodies were trapped in the rubble and 1 person was still missing. However, emergency officials confirmed on earlier today that the 2 workers were found in the rubble and were declared deceased. The incident occurred, you can remember, on Monday afternoon. Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Labour, Jomo Sibiya, is expected to be here in a few minutes to come to conduct a local inspection. Do follow IOL News for more updates on this.
We've just arrived on the scene. So at around 2 o'clock this afternoon, we've been informed that there is a building that has collapsed in the Ormonde area, where our emergency services were here with, in a speedy time as well. But what we can confirm at this particular point is that there's about 15 people that have been affected here. The first 6 of them, that we managed to transport them all through to hospitals. We transported them to Garden City as well as Mall Park. What we can indicate to you is that there's at least 6 fatalities, of which 3 of the deceased we managed to retrieve. The other 3 is still stuck under the rubble. We can also then confirm that the remaining 3 is still unaccounted for. And how we got to that number is that at the time when our teams arrived at the scene, somebody then managed to indicate to them in terms of the number of people that were on the building site. But what is critical to note is that as things stand now and looking at the preliminary investigations, we cannot seem to find any form of approved plans, because in an area like this, you should have had an SDF as well as any other approved building plans. So at this point, we do have our engineers on site as well as our building control officials, and we are now busy to look at the structural integrity of this particular building. So we are trying our best for our teams to work around the clock, but at some point, if it becomes unsafe for them to do so, we will have to call it off and then continue again in the morning. So as I've indicated, that the number that is affected is 15, of which the first 6 we managed to transport to the hospital. There's 6 fatalities, and the remaining 3 we can indicate to you that they are all unaccounted for.
Can we, when you look
The law doesn't fight in the city of Johannesburg.
So,
it's a free for all.
Yeah, so not necessarily a free for all. What we should agree on is that there's a high level of lawlessness, and as and when we've got issues of this nature, it will be upon us to be quite decisive enough on these particular things. And I can tell you, any fault that we will find with any official within the city of Johannesburg, I can tell you tonight that we will be decisive enough to be able to take action, because level of lawlessness of this nature cannot be allowed, and specifically when it comes to the loss of life. All what we can say at this point is allow us to look at the integrity of the building, allow us to focus on our search and rescue and look at recovery. We will be sending in use our JMPD dogs to be able to help us to snuff out. We've got the equipment to be able to help us to lift the rubble, but once, like I've indicated, if it becomes unsafe to do so, we will not be able to continue. At this point, I would also just want to indicate that as a city, we would like to extend our condolences to the families, and we will be providing a level of assistance through our social development and other relevant departments, whilst we are still looking and ensuring that we look at the investigations and for us to conclude. Once we are clear in terms of the cause of this particular collapse, we will be able to take you through and take you into confidence as the media on what it is. I'm going to repeat, we will be assessed on the level of our level of decisiveness as the leadership of the city with regard to this lawlessness.
The truth out of the questions which you are asking, which is a benefit to the community. But definitely, as I've said, I've spoken to the city manager, Dr. Brink. So we will be in a position to can link. We are working closely with the city, and if the city manager have indicated as such to say there's lawlessness, it remains to be seen in terms of the supplementary statements which we're going to obtain. And clearly, when it comes out that somebody is on the wrong side, the law will take its course.